Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to day 4 of Cyber Science 2020. So we're now on track 12, social media analytics, communities and learning. And we have our first speaker this morning is Jasmina Maric, and she'll be presenting her paper, which is entitled 5 E's to 4 C's, 21st Century Skills Learning. So we're looking forward to your presentation. If anybody has any questions throughout the presentation, please use the Q&A box and we'll have time afterwards. And Jasmina, whenever you're ready, best of luck for your presentation.
Thank you. Well, I will be talking today about 5 E's for 4 C's and how actually we should teach and improve student 21st century skills. Yes. So the question is, how can we improve students' 21st century skills acquisition through our teaching? And the starting point in this paper is actually the acknowledgement that of technical advancement, which introduced the shift from manual and routine jobs towards non-routine, interpersonal and analytical jobs. It's obvious that we live in the time where national and social borders do not mean what they used before, and when communication and cooperation happen simultaneously and globally. So over traditional notion of space and time. And in this situation, in such setting, you know, the question is, what are the skills our students need and how we can help them to acquire these skills through our teaching. And yeah, I need another slide. So in this research, we have been testing a model the model suggests that learning could be relevant and effective, while at the same time delivering 21st century skills to those who learn. I teach in the Swedish School of Library and Information Science in Sweden at the Web Content Management and Design program. And this is something we have done throughout a few years, and I'm showing results here. So this is what we have done in the experiment. So at the beginning, you know, as we were teaching in our courses, we first looked at what is missing in our teaching. Well, I think I would need the next slide. Yeah. And first we asked, okay, what are we doing in our teaching? What are we giving to our students? And what is in their bag after they leave our institution? So to understand if we're doing a good job, first we did a thorough analysis through different frameworks and a lot of papers to see what are actually 21st century skills we need. And is our education catering for these skills? So after doing a thorough literary review, we have arrived at some kind of synthesis of the model of all different, sorry? Oh, I thought someone said something. Okay, so we gathered all this research on this topic to understand what the 21st century learning is and what are these skills. So here I present on this slide very good synthesis, and this is something that is converging with other papers, you know, and it's generally agreed that across of different frameworks, the collaboration, communication, digital literacy, citizenship, problem solving, critical thinking, creativity, and productivity are essential for living and contributing to our society. So when you look at this list, it looks really complex, like we need everything. But we started to look at these things following Prensky, who says that the way we teach today is made for industrial society, but our society shifted to something else, you know, and these are all the skills we need. So Kareliuk, in his very good paper, proposed this synthesis of different 15 different 21st century learning frameworks, where he organized the knowledge into 3 groups: to know, to value, and to act, where to know is foundational knowledge, and there we should teach cross-disciplinary knowledge, core content knowledge, digital IT literacy. Then in humanistic knowledge part, so that part to value, where we teach them how to value something, is life job skills, ethical, emotional awareness, and cultural competence. And finally, meta-knowledge to act, how we can, based on everything we acquired on to know and how we value, we should act through creativity and innovation, problem solving and critical thinking, and communication and collaboration. So all of these skills, when we put them together, they're called 4C or super skills. So this is 4C from the title, and these are super skills for the 21st century. So we have to have solution in our education that results in creativity, communication, critical thinking, and collaboration. So when we understood what we are aiming for, or at least what we should be aiming for, I have run different experiments through the courses and in the program I teach. And to make this story shorter, you know, here I present 6 problems that we identified that our students face in our learning. And I tried to apply these 6 problems, you know, on the C-MRiC model. So what we have seen in our courses is that our students have problem first with interdisciplinary knowledge transfer. So if you teach, I don't know, if you learn something in one field, it was difficult, you know, to apply the same knowledge in some other field. Then in the Swedish school, I mean, in our Swedish library information school, the cross-cultural settings were quite uncomfortable, let's say. And I think that this comes from traditional Swedish culture that is a little bit, well, let's say, closed and used to these comfortable Swedish settings. So once everything was turned to English and, you know, meeting someone else, it was a little bit difficult to collaborate. And why is that? Because we have identified that students were avoiding honest peer assessment, because again, from Swedish culture, it is not easy to say something, let's say, critical or in a way that could be perceived negative to someone else. And so many times when we were working with peer assessment, the result would be only, you know, giving pleasant feedbacks like everything was nice, everything was good, but actually the critical thinking was lacking, you know. Most probably because of cultural reasons. And this also was the reason for spontaneous verbal argumentation, or if you want to make some kind of argument or make some kind of live experiment where students would have to argue at the spot, you know, we would always face some kind of problem. And our students would go for safe group work setting preference. If you translate all this from table 1 on this model, actually what our students miss is from this line towards the right. So it's missing cross-disciplinary knowledge, cultural competence, creativity and innovation, problem solving, critical thinking, communication and collaboration. What we have managed to deliver was core content knowledge, digital IT, literacy, life, job skills, and even ethical awareness. But this part on the right was missing. And as someone who is teaching in this program and likes its job, you know, I spend a lot of time thinking how we could actually make changes in what we do to help our students really get the skills that are needed, you know, and once they leave the academy, so they are armed with proper skills. So therefore, Yeah, I have created a new course. So I have created a set of courses that are called front-end development that are given in English language. That is a lot of hands-on material. The students have to develop application for user experience with users in the center. But the idea was to work on Brunner's 5 E's, and these are 5 E's from the title. So the course is built around engagement, exploration, explanation, elaboration, and evaluation. And the assignments were created to mirror real-life development, UX development environment, and students had to go through all these problematics, you know, in this field. What that meant was that also they worked in a group in order to test, you know, collaboration and cultural sensitivity with international students that we were hosting for these 6 months. After the whole course was running, the whole program was running for 6 months, you know, these front-end development courses, but the UX course, that is a matter of analysis in this research, was running for 3 months. So here are the results of what we have done. I will just, before I'm going deeper into the results, to tell you more about how they worked. So they had 2 different tasks to choose from, and they were developing cryptocurrency application for different users. They had 3 different target users to develop for. Or they could develop the application for climate change communication, you know, how you would communicate climate change to, for example, students in the high school, how you would do this for I don't know, business environment and so on. So students have chosen a particular user. They were working in a group of 5 people, and throughout the 3 months, they had a development of the application that they had to test, developing 3 iterations, and then finally deliver and present. After they have finished the whole process, we were talking to them, and we did the qualitative and the quantitative analysis. Here, what you see, these are results of the questions. They replied on Likert scale. So they were 10 questions, how they perceived the course, and in the paper you can find all the questions. But basically, to make it you know, more focused here, they replied, and their feedback signals that all of these missing skills we managed to tackle quite well. And maybe the skill, this is the orange arrow pointing here, so all other skills are above half, you know, so I mean, they really got a lot there. But the one that is sitting maybe in the middle of all is this cultural competence. So since we just run this set of the courses for the first time, and we had only small number, I think it was 5 students, and only from Germany, this cross-cultural competence that we have tested in our questionnaires was not really, you know, we didn't really manage to give a good result there. So the idea was that when we run the courses the next time, and that would be, you know, this year and this autumn, we should have been welcoming more students that are coming for the exchange in Sweden. The problem is now that in this Corona time, you know, most probably we're not going to have this, and everything is going to, I don't know, I mean, because everything is running online, you know, the students are not coming for exchange if there are no campus classes. So we will have to wait more. But basically, because they were working with the real problem application and meeting reality, so they had to analyze, that build the application around the specific user and evaluate through users, you know, they manage to really work a lot on this cross-disciplinary knowledge to apply several things and give good results in creativity, innovation. And since this is a group work that involves 5 people, it gave a lot result on communication and collaboration skills. So to easier present our results, you know, we have created this word cloud to look at their feedback from a qualitative analysis. And as you can see, yeah, this React, I don't know if I have said that, but they have to develop the whole user. I mean, the application was developed in React. So this is why we have React in the center. And for our students, that was really challenging. So they spend a lot of time, you know, on how to learn React and how actually to pull this application from prototyping to working fully a functional application. But when you look at the words from their qualitative, from their feedback and in a qualitative analysis, you see that a lot of things are turning around, that they know, they learn, think that it was actually working, and it's React in the center. So I think that if we think deeply, you know, we approach our courses and education in some specific way and target, you know, the needs of the students for 21st century skill, we can get a very good result and really equip our students with something that is needed. As we speak now, this is one of the most popular courses, and even though it was a lot of work, and even though our students say it was really hard, it gave very good results. So I propose this model as a good model for 21st century skills, especially if you have exchange students and you can make this cultural mix that we're going to focus on in the future more. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much, Jasmina, for that excellent presentation. If anybody has any questions, feel free to pop them in the Q&A box there. In the meantime, I just had one question myself. You mentioned that in Swedish culture, there's a lack of confrontation or willingness to give feedback. Do you think, because you also mentioned then the impact of group work, so do you think there'd be a big difference between, for example, collectivist or individualist cultures with that?
Well, I think, I mean, if I said that what you say, it was a little bit, I made mistake. I mean, they are, how to say, used to give feedback, but if the feedback is more critical, you know, that it could be taken as a negative in a way, then they try to avoid this, you know. So my expectation is that it would work different in different cultures. You know, I didn't have a opportunity to test this, and I have been talking to my colleagues in other cultures. You know, we wanted to run the same test, I don't know, in Thailand and in some other cultures in Europe, but I think it would be different. I think that this way, how we talk to each other and how we actually, you know, how we deliver critical thinking, it differs, even in a small continent like Europe.
Brilliant, thank you very much. So we haven't had any other questions through there. If anyone has any questions, feel free to send them on. So we're going to just take a break now. Thank you very much, Jasmina. And we'll be back in 10 minutes with our next presenter. Oh, I think we just had a question through there.
Yeah.
Oh, we have one question just coming through from Matthew. If you just hang on 1 second. I think he's just typing up a question for you.
This system adds the you know, the feeling of what the question is going to be, the unknown.
Okay, we've had a question in from Matthew. He said, are there particular courses which you feel are going to be the most challenging to apply the concepts to?
Well, that's an interesting question. You know, I work in this field of web development, and we live in the world where this, the matter and the analysis we do is changing all the time. So we have to adapt it all the time. But, you know, it will be interesting to see how I would teach mathematics to deliver, you know, communication and cultural sensitivity and critical thinking and so on. So in this way, when you're developing something for specific user, this is something that is around the user. So I think that web development and content and strategies on the web could be very good avenues for this. But something from a classic science, physics, and I don't know, maybe could have more challenging approaches to use this model, you know. Now that you ask me, I'm thinking how I would do this, you know, if I would be giving a math class. It's not going to be the same. But I mean, definitely something that is based on inquiry-based learning, on collaboration, and including different people, you know, this should be a model for 21st century learning, because we have to find a way how to give students these super skills, how they can test, you know, creativity, communication, critical thinking, and collaboration throughout the course.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you very much, Jasmina. I think that was all our questions there. So we're just going to take a break now. And just a reminder to any attendees who are here, we're running a cyber science conference survey just to get your feedback on the event and to improve for next year. The link to take that survey is in the attendee area, and everyone who takes it is eligible to be entered in a draw for a £50 Amazon voucher. So we'd really appreciate your feedback there just to help us for next year. So thanks again, Jasmina, for your brilliant presentation. We'll be back in 8 minutes with our next presenter, and thank you very much. Talk to you soon.